Hello everyone and welcome to our online summer reading program. Today we're going to be making a string art card. So we've got some cardstock, some embroidery floss, and we've just put it together so that when you open it up, it's got a nice card and you don't see the back of it. It's terrible as well. So today we're going to need some cardstock. We can fold it in half for our card base. We're going to need some colored cardstock or scrapbooking paper, a needle, some embroidery floss, a pen, glue stick, a ruler, some scissors, and then today our template is going to be the province of Alberta. If you'd like to do something different, you can always print off something that's got a simple outline and then you can cut it out just like we're going to do. So let's get started. Alright, so our first step is cutting out this design onto our colored paper. So there's a couple ways you can do it. If you print your template on a thicker piece of paper, you can always cut it out and trace around. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to scribble on the back and then place my template where I want and then draw heavily on our lines. That way we have this design and it's going to be transferred onto the paper we're going to be using. Alright, so you probably won't be able to see it on the camera here, but we do have a very faint line of our template. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to grab my pair of scissors and cut along that edge so that we have a hole in the middle. Alright, so there is our card cover with the hole, and there's our cutout Alberta. So we don't need this anymore, so it can go. And then our next step here is poking out these holes so that we can pull the embroidery floss through. Alright, so the way that I like to make sure that my holes are nice and even is I take my ruler, and for this particular design, I was putting a dot every half a centimeter. So every 5 millimeters, I was just lining up along the edge and putting a dot. So that's what I'm going to do next. Alright, I forgot to mention at the beginning, we just need a piece of cardboard. It helps punching the holes through the paper a whole lot easier. Your needle can actually go through. So I'm going to take my needle that I'm going to use to kind of create the design, and I'm just going to punch through on every single one of those dots that I made. So I'm just going to put it on and push it through. Alright, so now that we've got all of our holes punched around our template here, we are going to get our embroidery floss and needle ready. So you want to make sure that you are using not such a long piece that it starts getting knotted. So I usually do just a couple pulls out, so usually 2 or 3 ruler lengths. Then we're going to cut it and feed it through our needle. Alright, so once we have our needle threaded, we are going to start by pushing through from the back so that our tail is hiding behind the card. So there's 2 things we can do. We can just hold it until it gets a little bit tight, or you can grab some tape, which is what I'm going to do. Just grab a little bit of tape and tape down your tail so that it doesn't go anywhere. Alright, so now once we've got that taped or held in the back here, what you're going to do is you're going to choose what you want it to look like. So you can do a completely random design like I've done here. You just kind of choose a hole and you go through from the front and then you come back up. So that's what I'm going to do again. So I'm just going to choose a random hole and thread my needle through it and pull my embroidery floss. You want to make sure you're not pulling too tight, or you're going to find that your piece of paper is kind of doing this by the end. So keep it a little bit loose, but you don't want your yarn or your embroidery floss sagging at all. So you just go back and forth, pick another hole, go from the back, and come out to the front. And then just keep doing the same. And then when you do run out of this first piece that you've cut, just do the same, tape it onto the back, cut your next piece of string, and then finish until all of your holes have been used. And I'll show you guys when I'm done this one as well. Alright, so I've finished putting all the string through the holes, and then all I did was I taped off the ends and cut around the template here. You can do kind of just a square around the edge of the page, or you can outline your design as well. But now it is pretty much done. You can open it up, you can write whatever you want on it, and then don't forget that you can take other simple templates and do the exact same thing.